Some breaking news out of the college football recruiting world. Five-star wide receiver Bryant Wesco has committed to Clemson. Here to react to this news is our Director of Recruiting, Steve Wiltfong, and Director of Scouting, Andrew Ivins. I'm Emily Proud. Guys, this is the #1 player in Texas, the #3 overall receiver in the nation. Steve, you put in a crystal ball for him to land to Clemson earlier this morning, and it has now become official. Tell us what went down here.
Well, he loved his visit. Bryant Wesco had future official visits scheduled. He was supposed to be at LSU this weekend. He is supposed to get to TCU the weekend after that. Tennessee was on the books. Was going to get something scheduled with Oklahoma, but this trip to Clemson blew him away from the time spent with the staff on campus. He talked about how close everyone was there. He talked about how the staff is full of former players and that coaches rarely leave. And he said that speaks a lot to that program. He just enjoyed being with the people, enjoyed playing games, enjoyed going to Dabo Sweeney's house. And then the other thing he talked about earlier in the process is the reputation that Clemson has, going to the playoffs multiple times, winning championships under Coach Sweeney, the receiver pedigree, and then Coach Sweeney being a great person. This is what he was looking for. He's committed to Clemson, and as you guys know, when a young man commits to Clemson, they shut everything down. So, Emily, you don't even have to ask me if he's still going to take those future officials.
Okay, good to know. Saves me a question there. Andrew, you and the rest of the 24/7 Sports rankings team ranked 8 wide receivers as 5 stars so far in this cycle. So what makes Wesco stand out among that bunch?
He's a guy that can go get the football on the outside. I think when we talk about Clemson, this feels like a wide receiver take of old. I'm talking back when Mike Williams, T. Higgins were there. It was wide receiver U, and they've kind of trailed off in recent years. But Bryant Wesco, by all accounts for us, we love him, right? When we were sitting down to make our initial 32 5-star player field, it was, how high do we want to go with Bryant Wesco? You know, he comes from an athletic family. His sister plays soccer at Oklahoma. Dad is in the track and field Hall of Fame at Louisiana Tech. Bryant himself is a really good long jumper, regional qualifier there in the Lone Star State. He had over 1,100 yards receiving this past season, 17 touchdowns on 58 catches, 4.23 in the short shuttle, 4.55 on the lasers in the 40-yard dash. So we love everything about him. I think he's going to give Clemson a potential centerpiece on the offensive side of the ball, right? They just got a potential defensive centerpiece and 5-star linebacker Sammy Brown. Well, now they have that guy on offense, and I think if you're one of the quarterbacks there in Death Valley, you have to be smiling because Bryant Wesco to us is a potential wide receiver 1.
Yeah, Tigers also adding another wide receiver in this class in TJ Moore. He is in our top 100 of the top 247. Real quick, Andrew, what do we need to know about this receiver prospect?
Well, I talked about the jumping numbers with Wesco, right? TJ Moore, he also is a regional qualifier in the high jump down in the Sunshine State. I was at his spring game last month. They played in West Palm Beach, Tampa Catholic, and they overwhelmed the opponent, but TJ did everything he was supposed to do. Caught a pair of touchdowns, was excellent when it came to running the route. So he's another guy that can help stretch the field. I think his ability to levitate and play above the shoulder pads of defenders is very unique. His father signed with West Virginia coming out of high school, so we're talking about bloodlines there, but one of the best in the class when it comes to tracking the football. And I think when you pair him with Wesco, it's the perfect combination. TJ Moore can play on the inside, Wesco on the outside. These are interchangeable parts. And again, Clemson, when they had things cranking, it was wide receiver U. It was a very diverse group. I think Clemson is getting back to that. And Jeff Scott, the former wide receivers coach, you remember, he joined Clemson's staff in an off-the-field role this offseason. And we're seeing that all come to fruition here with the wide receiver room.
That addition seems to be working so far. A lot of wins for Clemson this week, as you mentioned. 5-star linebacker Sammy Brown joining the fold on Monday. Another 5-star today. I mean, it seems like a big influx of talent for Clemson right now, coming off that massive official visit weekend. Steve, what else should we keep our eye on going forward?
Well, Clemson up to 11 commits now. That's the #8 recruiting class in the 24/7 Sports standings, Emily. And we know this was the only official visit weekend that Clemson's going to have all June. So they're going to hit on several more prospects as they fill out this recruiting class. Let's take a look at some of the big-time names that also were on campus this weekend that the Tigers have a great shot to land. Let's start with 5-star defensive lineman Houston, out of Buford High in Georgia. I think Clemson is battling Ohio State, among others, for him. He'll be at Georgia this weekend. But I like where the Tigers and Buckeyes stand going into that visit. KJ Bolden, our #1 safety in the country. My crystal ball is on Georgia, but I think him and his family had an awesome time at Clemson this weekend. Clemson has always been a front runner for KJ Bolden, so we'll see what happens with the Tigers moving forward. Receiver, they're in on a couple more 5 stars. Emily, you got Mike Matthews and you have Cam Coleman. Both of them had fabulous experiences on campus. Mike Matthews and his family in particular love coming to campus. Clemson has been one of his favorite schools from the start of his recruitment. He's at Georgia this weekend, USC the following weekend. Tennessee's in the middle of that one, but Clemson seems to have a lot of juice right now in the recruitment of Mike Matthews coming off that official visit. But Ricardo Jones, I think they lead for the top 247 safety there out of the Peach State as well. So maybe they'll go back there after landing Sammy Brown here in the last 24 hours. But a lot to follow with Clemson coming out of that official visit weekend, where they listed over 20 of their top targets, and we're starting to see the guys jump in the fold now.
A lot of momentum, guys. This time tomorrow, maybe? We'll see. Clemson continuing to collect 5 stars, and we are your headquarters for all things breaking news in the college football recruiting world. So make sure that you are subscribed to the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel.